Greetings everyone. My name is Kritika Saran, and today we have a very special guest with us, Sravya. She is a product manager at Uber, and Shravya, I'd like to start with a quote over here, which might relate to a product management role. So the quote is: "The first step to solve a problem is to recognize that it does exist." It's by Pete Seeger. It's quite a small quote and quite a simple one, but I think it has a lot deeper meaning associated with it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, Kritika. I think as a PM, I think the first step and the most important step as a PM that you need to take care of is the problem definition phase. And yeah, I mean, all the buzzwords which sort of are around the role of a product manager, like customer empathy, problem solving, all these things essentially start by recognizing and identifying what problem you're going to solve. So yeah, I think it's very relatable.
So, Sravya, could you kindly give a brief about yourself to the audience?
Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm Sravya. I'm currently working as a product manager with Uber. I'm a part of their Emerging Product Leaders program, which is a rotational product management program. So I've just completed my first rotation with the micromobility team. And now my second rotation is with the payments compliance team. So before this, I graduated from ISB in the year 2021. I majored in IT management and marketing. And before, so at ISB, I was also a B school case competition coordinator. And because of my work and my participation within the ISB community, I was also awarded the Torchbearer award. So before ISB, I worked as a business analyst with Schneider Electric for 3 years. I come from that project management background, and before that, I graduated from BITS Pilani in the year 2017. Majored in chemical engineering. So I have a very unconventional path to product management. I'm not a CS undergrad, or I was not a coder before. I did my undergrad in chemical engineering, and after that, I was a business analyst for 3 years um, in the project management domain, and now I'm finally at Uber. So yeah.
That's a great journey. That's quite an intriguing one, actually. Of,
Yeah.
like from chemical engineering, then into data analyst, and then a PM. So, okay, one question, one small question. So, is it Uber or is it Uber? I don't want to butcher the name.
No, it's Uber. I think it's a proper noun, however you pronounce it.
Yeah,
It's Uber.
it's Uber.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with Uber only. Right.
Yeah.
So, Shravya, what is basic? What is the thing that interests you about the PM role? And I'm sorry, how did you reach it? Like, though we know how did you reach it, but what made you reach there?
So I guess it all started with my previous role itself. So at Schneider, as the business analyst, my primary job was to collect requirements from businesses, translate them into features or applications, and sort of transfer those requirements to the tech teams, ensure and support them throughout the implementation or development phase, and then take care of launching the application. At Schneider, I majorly built tools for internal Schneider businesses. So initially, at the beginning of every project, for the first 2 weeks, there is a phase which was called requirement gathering phase. So this is the time when I would interface with businesses, understand their problems, understand what is it that they're trying to digitize, what is it that they want to build, and then convert and then translate those requirements into user stories so that the engineers can understand what needs to be built. So when I was interfacing with businesses, that is when I became very, very interested in this domain. I really enjoyed that problem definition phase, which is the initial phase. But as a business analyst, I got to do it only for 2 weeks. So I knew that the adjacent to this particular phase, I knew, around at that time itself, I think because there were a lot of startups which were coming in, and I suddenly saw. I mean, I guess I was influenced um, by LinkedIn or by people around me who were making it big into product management. And I saw that the part that I liked the most about being the business analyst, which was that initial problem definition phase, I that is the most important part. If you are a product manager as well. So initially you have that definition phase. So that is when I got interested. And once I got interested, obviously I started reading more about it. I started following people on LinkedIn. And back then, this was pre-pandemic, so there were a lot of communities, like product communities in Bangalore. I think that is also was very, very interesting for me, because coming from a chemical engineering background, entering into IT, I was completely lost. And I just saw that the community culture, the community as a value that product managers have, I think that that was more important to me, because no matter where you are in like you could be a beginner, you could be an aspirant, you're trying to look for job, or you could be a senior PM as well. You will always find someone who can mentor you, and you will always find someone whom you can mentor, you can share your learnings with. So that is what was more important for me, being a fresher, straight out of college, and just being a confused person. So I would attend all these meetups, product manager meetups, over the weekends. I remember one, which I think there was this one VP of products at Danzo. He conducted a talk, which I think a lot of people attended, and that was very inspiring. Same thing happened with Flipkart as well. Flipkart actually had like a whole day product conference, and at that conference, I met tons of PMs. So it was all extremely inspiring to meet real life people who are actually building products that everybody uses. So yeah, I guess like that is how my interest sort of grew. I think for most people, it is interesting also because for example, if I make any workflow change at Uber, or someone is doing changes in Flipkart, you're influencing uh, you know how millions of users perceive your product and use your product,
Yeah.
and I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I agree with your point. So I
Yeah,
think that my quote, like it gelled well with your answer over here. That
yeah,
you have to find a problem, and I think that's what the most interesting part is for you. So I went ahead and I just went for a good quote. I think I get a thumbs up
yeah,
for that.
yeah, definitely.
So, Shravya, like, so what skill set is required to become a PM? You started with chemical engineering and then you went into pursue IT PM, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a business analyst. Yeah.
So it involves like languages and all those things. So how did you acquire that skill set, and how would you say that what other skills are actually required?
So as a product manager, I would bucket the skill set which is required into three buckets. So the first one is product sense. So product sense is nothing but understanding who your customers are, understanding what kind of pain points they have, what are their behaviors, what are their habits, and how can you build products which will sort of solve their pain points. I think that part of understanding and empathizing customers is very important. There are multiple other things which come under product sense as well, but the main point is can you understand your users, and can you communicate their user needs well.
Yeah.
The second is execution sense, which is essentially supporting everyone, all the cross-functional teams that you're working with, Can you support them during the implementation phase? Can you support your engineers? Can you support your maybe operations or marketing or everyone else in executing whatever plan or roadmap that you've built for your product? And the third thing is analytical sense. This is also extremely crucial. So this is again being extremely data, like you need to be good with data. You need to understand how tech works, in the sense that not exactly that you're expected to code or anything, but you need to understand how different systems or how the architecture of your code or of your product is sort of built. So these things are extremely crucial. Along with that, there are other things also. For example, communication is key, problem solving is key. Again, being extremely good with data is also important.
Yeah.
uh, and being absolutely and one of the key skills again is being absolutely good at prioritization, because at any point of time you have 100 things that you can do, but you have only limited resources. So how will you prioritize? And since this is an extremely cross functional role, it's important that you're good with stakeholder management as well. So yeah, so overall on a high level, I guess like these skills are important.
Yeah. So, like coming to the thing that I asked you, like, how would you recommend someone who is not, again, from a technical background to acquire those skills? Because it takes a lot of time to, reach where you are, obviously, and it takes a lot of perseverance and hard work. But so,
Yeah.
someone who wants to start a journey, so what things they should understand and what skills they specifically should work on?
So, in terms of skills, I think it's pretty, um, I would say, pretty simple in a sense. So, for product sense, I would always recommend that whenever you're working or whenever you're looking at whenever you're using a product. For example, you're using Zoom chat, right? Like we are doing this on Zoom chat. So, just like maybe I think the easiest way to acquire or build customer empathy is basically probably you can reverse engineer how this could have been built. Why is it that the view has only two types of view? One is like the side by side panel view, as well as another is the speaker view. What could be the reason why aren't there multiple other views? Or maybe why is the share screen sort of has the settings that it has? So things like that, basically, when you're using a product, think about why it was built in the first place, and also think about how you can improve the product. I guess like that is essential. And second thing is again customer empathy. I find the easiest way to empathize with customers is always to start conversation with potential users. For example, if you are using, let's say, Google Maps, so maybe I notice you, I observe you. The first thing is I observe how you're searching, how you're finding locations, how you're doing, etc., etc. And then maybe I ask you questions, and I basically, when you are a product manager in real life, when you're looking for problems and when you're looking to solve those problems in real life, it becomes much more easier. It becomes a habit when you are actually a product manager. So the other skills, like for example, being analytical and other things. Honestly, there are courses, there are podcasts, there are many other things. There are live projects as well. So doing all these things will definitely help you. For me, I think my biggest inspiration, like I said, I used to attend a lot of talks and conferences in Bangalore. So when I would when I would hear those talks by very senior PMs, how they are solving some of the most important problems, I think that is very, very exciting for me. So that is how I sort of built my understanding. Other than that, I guess like for me, majority of my understanding and majority of my skills sort of came from my MBA as well. The courses and the people and the kind of competitions that we would participate in. I participated in many product case competitions. Those things, again, when you're building a product case, when you're solving a problem, I think you will sort of develop that thinking for sure. So yeah, I guess like there are multiple ways to do it, but I think the easiest way to do it is obviously like think like a product manager. Every product that you're using, assume that you're the product manager of that product, and see how what will you do to sort of improve that product. So yeah.
So also talking about the empathizing with customers, it's like putting yourself into the customer's shoe, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and understanding what problems they might be facing and what are the benefits, what are the lackings, and how can you improve, and so working upon that, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I guess for me, majorly customer empathy. Firstly, again, like taking inspiration from fellow product managers who are actually solving these problems, and the way they talk about these problems is very inspiring. Secondly, I really understood what understanding customers mean,
Mm.
obviously on the job, but before that, during my MBA, when I was participating in a lot of case competitions, or rather during the interview process as well, there were a lot. So pretty much in any product management job that you apply for, you're required to submit a product case study on a problem statement that the company gives you.
Mm.
So at that point of time, I would actually interview a lot of people who are the potential customers for that particular product. For example, if I'm doing a case study on Swiggy, then obviously everybody around me were using Swiggy, so I would interview them. I would try to build my own hypothesis that okay, maybe people are using this feature this way because they think that this is what happens. So I would have this hypothesis written down, and then I would do customer interviews. I would talk to the users. I would understand, I would either validate or invalidate my hypothesis and then build my understanding. So finally, what happens is when you do this process, when you conduct customer interviews, you have a good basis for product insights, sorry, like customer insights. And then I would take each insight and I would actually try to extrapolate and see, hey, is this a large enough problem to solve?
Yeah.
Like it's maybe within my friends group or within the 10 people I interview, this is what is coming out, but can I actually prove that this is something which is bothering
Mm.
millions of users?
Yeah.
So that way I would take those insights and I would then search for articles, or sometimes you sort of find memes and things like that. So that itself is sort of like a like meme is basically whenever there is a pain, it's like just a comedic way to show that yeah, this is my pain point and this is what is happening. So I would do this sort of like a secondary research to validate my hypothesis and then build solutions for that. So again, that was also pretty exciting for me. Obviously on the job it's a little bit more different. Oftentimes you might not have access to all the insights and data that you want, so you need to be very gut driven as well at times. But again, yeah, but mostly I feel like the process is the same, that go talk to your users, build some insights, and then validate it with data.
So talking with a meme here, did you ever encounter that, you ever solved a pain via meme, like in your company? So you might have come across something, and you thought about it, and yeah, this is a genuine point, I must think of it and must work upon it. So did you ever encounter that?
Not exactly. For Uber, I think not exactly, but I do get very excited whenever I'm watching a movie and someone books an Uber within the movie. I get like extremely excited. So I'm actually, in my last rotation, I was working with this team called Micromobility. Not
Mm.
sure if you guys have seen this TV series, which is called Emily in Paris. It's on Netflix.
Mm.
And so in one of the episodes, the main characters, they actually book a micromobility ride and they start riding across Paris. And I think that was pretty excited for me, because I was very excited because I mean you're actually doing something which is so common in pop culture. Like it's not like you're working
Yeah.
on some niche product, which is not bad, but yeah, I mean, I think that's really really exciting. Yeah.
I, I can see the glow in your eyes.
Yeah.
That's I think
Yeah.
that's quite exciting. If I would have been at your place, I would have been as much excited as you are. So yeah, I can understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if there's any mention of any small thing that that I particularly know and someone else doesn't know about it, I get excited about that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand. It's the company that you worked with, and it's something that
Yeah.
you are contributing into. That might be a whole lot of different experience.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is exactly what motivated to become a product manager in the first place as well. That
Yeah,
you build things which influence millions of people all around the world.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Uber and the micro mobility you're talking about, so they are a part of it. So I think you've done your job. You've you've bagged it.
Yeah. 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 I'm very lucky that way. I just got very very lucky. Yeah.
I think it's luck and it's hardships as well. It's your hard work that you perform. So it's both. I will personally believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Shravya, like any particular certification or any courses that are required to pursue this role? As you said, MBA helped you out quite a lot with this. However, if someone wants to work on some other certifications or courses, what what should they keep in their mind, and what should they actually go for?
With respect to certifications or courses, there is not one way to sort of go about becoming a product manager. There are multiple paths that people take, honestly. Some people do get their computer science degrees, and then they become software engineers, and then they transition into an PM role, either internally within their company, or they apply externally and then they transition. Some people come from non engineering backgrounds as well, and they start slow. They probably become a product analyst first, and then grow to APM, and then they become PMs. Or some people like me, they either from technical background or non-tech background, do an MBA and then become a PM. So there are like multiple paths one can take. I know people who have been in the industry maybe as an operations manager or an engineering manager for 10 years, and then they transition into a product role.
Mm, mm,
So so there is literally not there is no right answer to become a product manager, and that is the beauty of it as well. It's just welcoming to everyone. Like the field itself is welcoming to everyone. The communities are also welcoming to everyone. No matter who you are, you'll always get help and mentorship. So with respect to certifications, there are not. I mean, it depends why you want to do the certification. There is no this thing called, okay, if I do this one certification, then it becomes easier for me to become a product
yeah.
manager. That doesn't happen. However, if you want to uh, build on your knowledge, but you want to just like understand about the role deeply, you want to build skills. So there are multiple courses that you can do. Definitely, there are some standard ones by, let's say, the top business schools like Harvard and Stanford and Kellogg's. So those, especially the Kellogg's product course, I think that is regarded as one of the that is regarded as one of the best courses to sort of understand what the role is, and what do you do in a day-to-day basis.
Mm,
And there are again other smaller courses as well. These days, literally, you ping any PM on LinkedIn, and they are more than happy to help you out and guide you. There are so many books and podcasts and whatnot. There's a ton of material, honestly, to become a product manager.
yeah.
Yeah.
So one just need to find the right way actually, and go with it, right? So as you
Yeah.
said, that there's no defined way. However, if they work on it and if they find a way on their own and work in that direction, so I think they'd probably end up being one, and pursue something that is of their interest and of their aspiration. So
Yeah. So I think the easiest way to sort of do this to get started is to be active in the product communities. There are many communities on LinkedIn and in general also. Like there's product school, there is PM school, and there is Hello PM. There are multiple product communities. Honestly, reaching out to any of these communities and just like being active in these communities, I think you will get a sense of what the role is about. You'll get a sense of where do you stand in terms of skills and resume and basically whatnot, and then you can reach out to an appropriate product manager who might have had like a similar path as you do, and then get your guidance and get started.
Thanks for that. I think one who's aspiring to become one, I think they can definitely join these groups and maybe visit the conferences like you visited. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's quite helpful. Thanks a lot. Like it's a good
yeah,
way to start, and it's a good way to actually learn about that community and learn about the world of product management. So
yeah,
that could definitely help the people out over here who are listening to us.
yeah.
So, Shravya, one thing that what are the important things that one has to keep in their mind while interviewing for this job role, and kind of questions that we can expect from a recruiter?
So again, it entirely depends on at what level you are interviewing with. Are you interviewing for junior roles or senior roles? Depending on that, the interview sort of differs. But as an entry level role, either as an APM or as a PM, if you're starting out, then there are usually three types of questions or three types of interviews that you can expect. So first one is product round. Here again, your product skills is sort of product sense is sort of tested. Can you communicate the product vision properly? Can you come up with like roadmaps? Can you empathize with your customers? Can you think about how you can improve products and generate value? So this is what is tested, and this is tested through different question types. So there are design questions, which, for example, someone might ask you, okay, how can you improve Zoom chat? So that is an interview question, or there could be it could be a little more analytical. For example, if you're a product manager at Zoom, what kind of metrics are you going to track? So or it could be some sort of like a root cause analysis question wherein let's say suddenly people stopped using Zoom, like the number of meetings that are happening every day has dropped. What how will you fix it? How will you find the root cause, and how are you going to fix the problem?
Yeah.
So this is one set of questions. The second set of questions is strategy questions, more like product strategy and business strategy questions. For example, let's say Flipkart wants to enter into a new vertical. How, as a product manager, how will you go about it? Like, should Flipkart enter XYZ? Maybe Flipkart wants to enter the mobility area. Let's
Mm.
say they want to offer rides. So should Flipkart do it or not? So or it could be more like where do you see a product in the next 10 years? Like if you take Myntra, like where do you see Myntra in the next 10 years? What kind of changes do you think will happen? What kind of changes will you think are going to happen within the market, and how are people going to perceive e-commerce? Look, so basically they're going to test, can you think about a product or a company from a big picture point of view. And the third type of interview could be more technical and analytical. So this is where your tech skills are sort of tested. If you are especially from a technical background, then they might ask you about a specific project that you would have worked on. Or if you're from a non-tech background, from me, it's possible that they might give you a situation or a hypothetical product, and maybe they might ask you how will you maybe how do you think different systems interact, or just like testing on your understanding of system design. So that can happen again. Like the product manager role, the interviews are also not very standardized. They're standardized for larger companies, but with startups It entirely depends on the CEO. Most of the times, they just want to see, can you be analytical, can you solve problems, are you customer obsessed. I guess like these three are more important. That is what they're trying to test.
Okay, okay, that is really insightful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Shravya, one more thing is like, what is the growth rate as a PM of a PM job? What is the growth rate in this community?
um Growth rate as in like in terms of career progression.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think again it depends on where you're starting from and what kind of background you have. Usually, if you're fresh out of college, you might start off as a product analyst, then you become APM, then you become a product manager, and then you can become like a senior product manager, and then after that maybe you're managing multiple products. You become a group product manager or head of products, and then VP of products, and then maybe ultimately you become like a chief product officer. So that is how your career path. That is how one career path can look like. Um, so yeah. So usually at a higher level, mm, you are PMs usually manage multiple products or multiple verticals. So that is what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Shravya, what is your experience working at Uber? How's your experience there?
I think it's pretty amazing. Like I said, I think the program which I'm in is like one of a kind program. It's a rotational program, which is so rotation programs are usually, especially within product management. I think these are usually famous in the US. So in the US, usually from B schools like Harvard and Stanford, so companies like Google and Uber or Facebook and companies like these usually recruit APMs, and each APM sort of works in different teams. So there are usually 2 or 3 rotations, 6 months each. And it's pretty amazing because usually you have like a alumni base who would have graduated. So they call it graduation because these are programs at the end of the day. I mean, we are full-time employed, but these are programs at the end of the day. So you get to have access to the alumni who have graduated before you. You get to experiment and learn. I think most importantly, you get to network with different teams. You understand how the business is sort of organized, what kind of problems that different teams are working on. You get to be mentored from senior PMs and very tenured PMs and pick up skills from the right people. I think that is what is more exciting to me. So yeah, so it's been really amazing so far.
And how was your interview experience at Uber? What kind of questions did he ask you? Do you remember something? Something that stayed with you. I must say that.
Yeah. So the interview experience, I guess, like it was pretty standard to any other PM interview, which usually happen at ISB. So for us, I think for Uber, for us it started with like a data analytics test first. It was not like we are asked to code or anything. They just give you like a data set in an Excel, and they ask you a bunch of questions, and you're supposed to answer them. Um, and so after you pass the data analytics test, the next round is the product case study round, wherein they give you a problem statement and you're supposed to submit a 10-slide PPT solution. So that is what was the second round. And then I had 3 rounds of interviews with the PMs at Uber. So it was not particularly structured in any way, like how I explained before. I think every interview had sort of like elements of like there were behavioral questions, there were product science questions, there were analytical questions, there were execution related questions, there were product vision, communication related questions. So I guess like it was for me, like the Uber interview experience was sort of like a mix of everything. Um, so yeah, so I guess like that is what happened.
So was it nerve-wracking at any point of time? Was it did it did you get some jitters? something like that.
So definitely it was pretty stressful at that time because Uber is my dream company and I really enjoy working there every day. So the interview process, like I feel like for me personally, I felt like it was like high stakes. It was like a do or die situation for me. So I just put in extra effort for literally everything. If they ask me to do X, then I deliver 2X. I believe. So especially I put in a lot of effort for the product case study. I remember I didn't sleep or eat for 25 hours straight. I was just working on the case study. And yeah, I think it paid off. Like that hard work definitely paid off. I was in my library almost ready to faint at that point because I didn't even move from my chair. I didn't even eat properly. And I remember I started my case study around 6 a.m., around 8 a.m., I guess, like probably like if I started my case study 8 a.m. today, maybe I was working till 10 a.m. The next day morning. So it was crazy. The interview was very nice. Like the interviewers were it was more conversational, I would say.
Hmm.
It was not it was not like strictly ki, okay, I'm going to give you a case study. I think that happened only in one round of interview where I was given a case study and we just discussed the case study for 45 minutes. But otherwise, it was mostly conversational, and the interviewers were also very friendly. So
Lucky you.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's also integral to have a sort of as you mentioned, it was balance of everything, right? So it was case studies
Yeah.
involved. It was more technical aspect involved. It was conversational involved. So it was a mix of everything, and I think you would have enjoyed the interview process as well. Not that much, but
Yeah.
it would have been a whole lot of new experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, on the day of the interviews, like on the day of the placements, I did have shortlists from other companies,
Hmm.
but I didn't get nervous for any of those companies. But with Uber, I was extremely nervous because like it was my dream company. I wanted to crack it. Yeah, so for the other companies, I was mostly like cool and calm, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just like answering the question. But with Uber, it's like, yeah, I was having like a mini panic attack internally throughout the interview. So yeah.
Oh. कहीं गलत ना हो जाए कुछ क्या. So all those things, right?
Huh. Yeah. I was not confident that I would make it also. Even after the interviews were over, I had no because I was so anxious the entire time. I had no idea whether I performed well or not, or basically it was all like I just blacked out. It felt like I blacked out throughout the entire process, and I didn't remember anything how I did what did I say, etc., etc. But yeah, like when I just got the result, I was like the happiest person on earth. So yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations to you for that. Your
Yeah.
hard work paid off actually. So, Shravya, like, can you tell me something about your internship experiences as well at Freppy 8 Network and then Schneider Electric? So, a little just about what was your roles and responsibilities over there, and how did your
Um, so ISB as such doesn't have any internships as such. It's a 1 year course, so we don't get to do any internships. We just work on multiple, um, let's say like different projects,
Hmm.
case competitions, etc. But so all the things that you're talking about actually happen post placements. Like I so after placements, I mean, I knew how much effort I put in to sort of get to where I got. Before ISB, I was so passionate about product management that I applied to at least like 200, 300 product roles at different companies, and the maximum I could get is like one interview, one shortlist, and after that, I'm not able to crack the interviews, or sometimes I don't even get shortlisted. My resume wouldn't even get shortlisted, so it was very, very stressful, and this has been my dream for almost the last 4 years. So which is why I guess like after placements, I just like I had this. Um, I've seen people, I've seen my friends also struggling just like how I did. So I really wanted to help them out, and that is when all of these side projects sort of began. Um, at that time, I actually took an interview prep workshop for this one college called Masters Union. I think you would have heard.
Yeah.
So at Masters Union, I met a bunch of folks who were working on this cool new startup, which was called Aid Network. And I just joined them as like a product manager consultant to just help them with certain processes. So I did customer interviews. I was analyzing. They had done some proof of concept work. So I was analyzing data from that, and I was just like doing some market research and observing trends and things like that. So that is how I help them with a little bit of design work as well. So it was more like a consultant sort of a work rather than internship, I would say.
Yeah.
And with Preppy is actually I'm a product manager mentor. I'm working there part time,
Okay.
still a mentor there. So I usually help. So if you're an ISB applicant whose post MBA goals are to get into product management, just like I did, so that is where I help the students and aspirants. I help them with their application work. I help them. I take mock interviews, so I help them out with that. And yeah, so basically, I'll just like stay with the aspirant right throughout their application journey until they get into ISB. So that
Okay.
is what I do.
All right. Great. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
So one last question. What is a piece of advice you'd like to give to someone who's into pursuing PM as their career?
So I know it's very difficult. It's extremely difficult. It's a very competitive field, and it's very difficult to get into product management. So, but I guess you need a mentor right from the start. I think that is extremely important.
Yeah.
That is what worked for me, and that is what works for a lot of people, because there is no standardized path, right? कि मतलब आप IIT coaching ले लेते हो and then उसके बाद you get into IIT. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not as straightforward as that. There are different paths that people take, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the information that is out there. So just have a mentor who has like the same profile as you do, and just go with it, I would say. And also again, the same things which I repeated: stay active in the communities, participate in competitions, not competitions, just keep solving case studies. I think that is the best way to sort of improve analytical skills and being strategic about problems and having like a macro level view of problems, as well as like a micro level, like a
Yeah.
customer, capturing voice of customer level skills as well. So yeah, so I guess have a mentor, be active in the communities.
It's crucial to have a mentor. It's quite crucial to have a mentor. Nowadays, it's again, you as you said, it's there is a lot of information outside, and
Yeah,
you never know what is correct and what is not correct. And
yeah,
getting overwhelmed is like it's an outcome of knowing what to do and what not to do, right?
yeah,
So absolutely. A mentor can help you out, can actually lead you through the path as well. And they cannot be with you all the time, but however, they can give you those advices, just like you did right now. So to actually build a path for them and build a career for them in PM. So exactly, a mentor is and I think not only in PM but in any field,
yeah,
PM.
yeah,
So
that's true.
right. So a mentor is quite crucial. If you're lost and if you're all by yourself, I think it's difficult to find a way. But if you have someone
Yeah,
like you who's been there, who's have that experience, so they could guide you better. And there's no better thing than having someone who's relating to you, who can relate to you. So
right.
I would completely agree to that. I would completely.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly speaking, like I myself, I've just started in my role. It's just been 6 months. So I myself, I have like, at this point, I have like at least two, three mentors. Honestly, I have multiple mentors like that. That also sometimes is very helpful because it gives you multiple point of views. And I don't think there would be ever be a point in your career where you wouldn't need a mentor, like no
Yeah.
matter which field you're in. It's always good to have someone who sponsors you, who understands you in like who understands your skill set and sort of has a plan to improve, whatever needs to be improved. So yeah, so a lot of questions which you asked, like, what is important for being a good product manager, etc., etc. I'm yet to discover, honestly. So yeah, I guess like I still have a long way to go. I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot of projects to do. So yeah.
And I wish you all the best with everything that's going to come.
Yeah. Thank you, Kritika.
And I hope you had a great time talking to me, and
Definitely.
because I had a great time interacting with you actually. It's a new experience for me. It's a new learning for me to actually learn about the PM world, even though I'm not aware of it wholly, but I can actually get glimpse of it. So it was very insightful for me. It was really nice talking to you.
That's amazing, Kritika. Likewise here as well. It was really, really nice talking to you. Thanks for doing this. And yeah, I hope there were a few takeaways. Like I said, like I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but this is what is my understanding at this point of time. So yeah.
And also, you are a mentor for quite a few people. So I think
Yeah.
that's quite a great thing that they have with themselves. So
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to give back whatever I took from the community. So yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Your thought is so amazing. I
Yeah.
wish you all the best and have a great time ahead.